Histogram is very important for judging and making sure that you have got the right exposure. So when you play back an image after you've taken it, what you want to look for is an information button, info, or a display button on your camera, or perhaps something else, depends on the camera you have, that allows you to see this little graph. This is a graph with a tonal distribution. It's going to tell you if your picture is too light or too dark. All right, so what this graph is it's showing you all the pixels. So we have white pixels, we have black pixels, and we have all these different shades of gray. And for the moment, we're going to forget about color. All right, so we have a picture that's composed of a lot of different pixels, and in the histogram, what we're going to do is we're going to organize all these pixels. So in the very left column are black pixels, and then ones that are really near black, and then over to the right-hand side, where we put a white pixel. And so now we have a graph where we can see, oh, okay, we got a whole bunch of middle gray pixels and a few dark ones and a few light ones. And it's very, very easy to see if you've got the right exposure just by the shape of the histogram. So a histogram might look a little something like this. So this vertical height is measuring the number of pixels at any one brightness level, and then it's broken up from left to right, going from darks, shadows, midtones to highlights. And so you can easily see if there's a lot of pixels in one particular group. And so this has a lot of pixels in the midtones, which is where a lot of normal pictures are going to be. Now, one thing you want to keep an eye on is the leftmost column, because those are pure black pixels, which means that you have got essentially no light in to those pixels. And so if there's a lot of them that are stacked up really high in that left-hand column, you've got a really dark photo. I'm not saying it's bad, you've got a really dark photo, and you may need to take a look and judge if that's appropriate for what you're shooting. Same thing goes with the right side of the graph. Those are the white pixels. If you have a lot of white pixels, those are going to be blown out pixels without any color, without any detailed information. And that's probably not a good thing in most photographs. It really is something that you have to look at on an individual basis. And so we'll be looking at a bunch of different photos in here. Many cameras will have two different options on graphs. You could either choose a brightness one, which is just all the pixels combined together, which is a good way of judging the overall brightness. And then there's RGB histograms, which separate it out into red, green, and blue pixels, so you know how bright any one particular channel is. I find the RGB histogram a little bit easier to read. I like the colors, and it can tell you if you're getting a really bright area in one of the colors where you may get some clipping on that. Now, this is really handy to have on a digital camera, especially a non-mirrorless style, because when you look at the back of the camera under bright light or even just normal outdoor light, it's hard to judge, is that the right exposure or not? Because it's being influenced by the light hitting the LCD on the screen. If you have a mirrorless camera, you are at a little bit of an advantage because you can hold the EVF up to your eyes, block out all that extra light, and get a better view of what that final image is going to look like. But the histogram is, I think it's like the lie detector test for pictures. Did you or did you not get the right exposure? And this will let you know that you got the right exposure. Generally, what you're worried about is a big mound of information over to the right-hand side for overexposure and a big mound over to the left-hand side for underexposure. But you should not just assume things with histograms. Every photograph is going to have a different looking histogram. And so I encourage you to play back your images, look at your histograms, and start learning about what's going on in those photographs. So when I'm photographing this and I'm looking at the photo and I'm thinking, is this the right exposure or not? I can't tell. I would like more information. Let's look at the histogram. Oh, we've got a lot of information way over on the right-hand side. Let's try darkening this photo up. And so now we can see a lot more color information in the sky. And so this is just a really useful tool for knowing if you got the right exposure.